What's up, my peeps? Ever thought I'm really feeling led and called to do something that is in my purpose? And I think maybe my age or my circumstances, when do I get started? I don't know when I should get started on this project itself. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 reasons why we're going to break barriers, break the beliefs, break all the things that's holding you down, and 5 reasons why age and your circumstances should not hold you back from doing what God's called you to do, to following and pursuing your purpose. Okay, so many situations I hear people say, I want to do something, but either I got to get older, I'm not old enough yet, I haven't had enough experience, whatever it may be that you have limitations on why you think you shouldn't do it just yet. Or some folks think, well, I'm too old to get started with this, whether it's exercise, starting a business, starting a passion project, starting just some kind of ministry, whatever it may be that you feel like you're led to call and lead or start or pursue, but you may have some limiting beliefs behind that and you don't do anything. You get stuck, you get stagnant. And we're going to break through some of those particular situations right here, right now, too. So if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, get notified, share this, all the YouTubey things that's out there for you to do, as we're going to continue to grow this channel to help you grow in your purpose, to have meaningful life, look at the ways you develop yourself as an individual in self-mastery in the areas that God has called you to do, and leading the people that you're called to lead in an awesome and positive way. So this is live. If you join with us live, I'd love to see your comments, questions, anything that you may have to join in the fun. So I got a quote here that I want to share with you guys that kind of hits home. And it says, it is never too late to become what we might have been. Okay? It's never too late to become what we might have been. And that's by George Eliot, an American journalist, a scholar in this particular area itself. So, never too late. What could have been? The possibilities. We all have a potential or capacity to produce. It's just a matter of the fact that many of us don't realize that potential because we settle. We may just go with what we're told. We have a life by default instead of a life by design. We're not being intentional. We're moving those things in the right direction. But what could be? Do we dream the same way we did as kids? It's up to us to do that. Nobody's going to dream for us. We have to decide and say, am I still going to have this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed belief system that I can do many things? I can do great things. When we were kids, I want to be an astronaut, and I want to be, a physicist. I want to be something amazing and big. And then we get older, and people start telling us to be reasonable or be realistic. And that's not a life fulfilled. Just kind of meandering through in this complacent life. And that's not what God called us to do. He's called us to do great things. Now, great things doesn't mean for everyone massively on stage doing these things, but great things go deep. They touch and empower and impact the people that you're called to lead in an amazing way. So that's what I want to kind of look at it, because it's not just circumstances. Sometimes we think if it's an age, I'm not old enough or I'm too old, but then the circumstances and situations. I don't have a degree. I don't have this, but also the things you made mistakes with. I've got a record. I messed this up, my situation, but actually even the mistakes, even the mishaps, the tests, the trials, the tribulation that you've gone through, the traumas, that's all part of the story that makes you uniquely different from someone else who didn't go through those particular situations. So you're uniquely gifted to pursue and help certain individuals. And that's the part where you have to understand is all things work for the good of those who are called and who love him and are called to his purpose. It's all of these things work together. It's building your testimony. It's building your platform. All that's part of it. So the things you think are going to hold you back, the situations you put in your mind, these limiting beliefs of what's holding you back, are actually elements that are necessary for you to do the thing. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit. So let's start with number one. Number one is success and purpose have no age limit. Okay, they do not have an age limit to what you being great or successful in a particular endeavor. It does not have an age limit. So why is that so? You look at people like Morgan Freeman, Julia Child, Stan Lee. They didn't find their purpose until later in life. Some of these folks got started in acting and in chef and starting off in like Stan Lee's the guy who did all the Marvel stuff, the comics. Then started until later on. Morgan Freeman, I don't remember his first role, but I remember the first time I saw him in School Days, which goes way, way back. No, I'm mixing it up. Wait, no, was Morgan in it? No, that wasn't Morgan. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up my old black man. That was the loud cussing dude. What's up? Y'all know it's who I see the loud cussing black dude. I mean, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. The Pulp Fiction and Crazy Stare, all that stuff. Yeah, anyway. Why I can't think of that man's name? You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, you got the eye patch on and the Marvel stuff. But anyway, all these folks started later in life. But probably folks said, well, you're too old. Colonel Sanders, you hear about Colonel Sanders being, starting off in his later years with KFC. But, it was later on. But at the same time, some folks are teens, are children who get started with a business or pursuing certain passions. A lot of these big name folks that we're following either didn't go to college or they dropped out because they felt this calling to lead into this starting a business or starting a movement. And it was away from the status quo. It was away from the normal stuff that folks are doing or whatever's considered normal. I think about it in the Bible. King Josiah was 8 years old when he became king. 8. David was a young boy when he took out Goliath. He was not in major age. When he was anointed king, he didn't even look like the status of what people thought what a king was going to be. So there's certain folks that it's not an age limit. It's not an age limit on certain things like that. I don't have my verse. I thought I had it in here. Okay, it's later down. I'm skipping all over the place. My bad. In my head, what stuff is different from what my notes is. So anyway, when it comes down to even Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. There's a certain time for you that's maybe different from your neighbor, from your siblings, from your parents, when you're supposed to pursue the thing. But everybody has their starting point. Everyone has their time to move in toward that particular thing itself. I'm thinking about the sin of a woman, as Al Pacino said, I'm just getting warmed up. I feel that way myself. I'm only 48, or I'm 48. What are you going to say? Only 48 is a good way to say it versus saying, well, I'm 48 and I'm just getting started. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. So that's the mindset. Or it doesn't have to be, though. What are we pursuing? What are we deciding to pursue? Like, I feel like I'm just getting warmed up. Been on YouTube for a long time, but I never really actively pushed it like I'm doing now. Okay, there's certain things even starting and shifting. I've always been a coach and an educator. You look back at some of the skill sets, they've always been there. And now it's up to us to nurture them and bring them to the forefront when it's for us to move forward in those particular things itself. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you're not alone. Many people struggle to find their purpose. Many people, meaning most folks, struggle to find their purpose because there's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of ideas and thoughts and things that are out there, but what's really the real thing? Here's why I know it. Why is that you're not alone? That's the part about it where you don't get caught up in, oh, well, I don't know. Most people do. So here it is. 40% of Americans haven't found a satisfying life purpose. That's key. People are doing things, but are they satisfied? Are they being fulfilled in what they're doing? And a lot of folks say, no, they're not. So 40% of folks say they haven't even found that particular thing. And 25% lack a clear sense of what makes life meaningful. Man's Search for Meaning, one of my favorite books, Dr. Viktor Frankl. It was all about meaning. The motive of why you do something matters. What is pulling you? What is pulling you forward into a legacy, into a divine purpose or calling? What is it that brings meaning and impact to your life because you're impacting certain individuals that you're called to influence and impact yourself? That's specific to you. Okay, so 25% say they lack a clear sense of what makes life meaningful. But here are other two stats here. Only 10% of people know their life purpose, with just 5% regularly following it. So only 10% say that they feel and know it, like it's down pat. This is it. And then 5% not even say they're even like fulfilling it. They're following it. So that means 95% of people may have it, or I have an idea. And of those 95%, they're not doing anything with it. Only 5% of folks are actually doing something with the actual purpose. They're pursuing it. They're grabbing the education, grabbing the mastery, grabbing and pursuing the things necessary to see it come into fruition. Not everybody's doing that. Are you doing that? Okay, so it's still it doesn't have to be so far out there, because just know that it is a struggle. The enemy is going to fight you, especially if you're going to be on purpose, on mission for what God's calling you to do. Of course, the enemy is not going to like that. He's going to bring you some distractions. There's going to be certain things in your life that hold you back if you allow it. Okay, so if you're struggling to find it, you're not alone. But the struggle is right. The struggle is real, and the struggle is yours to pursue and to fight through. It's up to you to make it happen, to go forward. Okay. So number three is that life is a continuous journey. This is not like a set point. A lot of times we say, once I pursue this and once I reach that, then it's done. All right. There's always going to be learning and pivots and changes, ways that you have to adapt and course correct even on this purpose. So you may be doing it in one area. There's a shift to do it this area, another shift to do it another area, or serve a different group. You either may go broader or you may go more narrow to a specific, like psychographic more than a demographic, a type of person, their personality, their who they are, their age, their sex, their gender, or any of those particular things maybe bring you in more specific to that specific area itself. So it's continuous. Some people figure it out early. Some it takes it later, but it's all part of, they say, the ebb and flow of life. It's all about moving through it as it goes. Sometimes, life gives you opportunities to grow, and sometimes it gives you opportunities to sit and be still and to pause, Selah, pause and consider where you're moving. Okay, but it's discovering, pursuing. They talk about the pursuit of happiness. It's not the pursuit, it's choosing to be happy. And I'm going to be pursuing in the happiness, in the joy, that I'm going to look for that adventure, look for that opportunity, look for things to come in my path, because I'm being intentional with being sensitive to the Holy Spirit to tell me, okay, what's going on? What's real? What is it that I'm supposed to be doing in this particular moment? And being obedient to that itself. Got Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understand. Of course, it ends up in all your ways, you direct your path. So this part of it is like, I can't go on just what I see. I've got to lean on to what he's telling me, what the Spirit is leading me into. So it is a faith. It's a journey of faith. It is a faith walk. I can't see with my eyes because my eyes tell me lies. I need to walk by faith. I need to see and move even when I don't see. What is that burning thing that I need to take the first step? I don't need to have it all figured out. Okay, I don't need to have it all figured out. It's going to be continuation. It's going to continue to move. It's going to continue to reveal certain things, certain books, certain interactions with certain people. You may go to a conference or have a conversation with somebody, and all of a sudden it lights up. Things to start coming to mind and start coming to your heart, and realizing that this is something I need to pay attention to. So on that journey, I believe that God will send certain individuals and people and have encounters that are going to give you some more clarity. So all work works. The things you're doing, you may find out, start getting into something and realize this is not it. I realize now what I don't want to do. I realize now what's not for me. So that's okay. I pivot and I keep moving. And I keep going. I go to the next step and the next stepping stone along my path. And so I just continue to allow these things to be revealed to me as I go. And that's a choice. Okay. So it is a journey. It's going to continue. It's not going to be, oh, got it, found it, all done. Even when you're like, I am all in on my purpose. The crazy thing about purpose, that when I talked about earlier about seasons, it can ebb and flow. There may be a season where my purpose is to doing this for a decade or 2 decades or 3 years. And then it may start moving into another way. It may start revealing like there's another level, or there's a caveat, there's a pivot, there's something in there that I may be leading someone else to follow in that pursuit as well. So that's for me to figure out. That's for me to start, to not be stagnant. I stay in motion. I stay curious. All right. I stay curious for what all can be. I don't want to get stuck on good enough. All right. That complacency, that meh lifestyle. I don't want to do that. I want to continue to pursue greatness in this calling, in this purpose, even though I know that faith in the faith means that I'm going to get to this point, I'm going to walk by faith to get here. Then I get here, start figuring things out. Then I'm going to walk by faith to get to the next step. So it's a matter of me deciding that I'm going to continue to be on the journey itself. All right. So that's number 3. Number 4 is it's never too late or too soon to pursue your purpose. So I started kind of talking a little bit about this in the first one too as well. It's never too late or never too soon, because a lot of times, we talk about, when later on in life when I get started itself. But whether it's starting that new career, getting into fitness, getting in my body shape, let it go. No, it's never too late. As long as you got breath in your lungs, blood flowing through your body, you can get started. Now, wherever that may be, if it's, young, age, old, whatever it may be, but the new skill, or just enhancing who you are as a purpose, in your purpose, enhancing who you are as a person, going in your purpose. That is, I'm gonna get it out. Sometimes that mouth gets in the way a little bit. So it's up to us to say every moment offers the opportunity for a purposeful pivot in what I'm doing right now. I may say, and here's the thing. So I always talk about this as far as your industry may get changed. So if you've been an accountant for 20 years, you went to school for accounting, your parents were accountants, and you do this for your life, and you love accounting. But if QuickBooks comes up with QuickBooks accounting that does all the work that an accountant can do, especially with AI and all this kind of things, it's not far off. It may not be far off. QuickBooks accounting system and software makes the whole industry of individuals being an accountant obsolete. Now what? I can hang on to the feelings and the emotions that I'm an accountant. I've been an accountant for 20 years. This is who I am. And the whole industry has become blockbuster. It no longer exists as far as you operating, because software and technology has taken that. Just like Blockbuster was taken by Redbox and Netflix and all these different technologies that came in and changed that. Now I can sit there and keep focusing on why does this happen to me, and I'm an accountant. That is not your identity. We do so much, especially as men, so much to make our identity our work. Now, identity is in our work, but not in our job or our title, because there are skills that you have accumulated over those 2 decades of accounting that can cross over to another area of work, another line of work. There's skills. And you have wisdom that can move over to another area, and so you can produce something new, you can start something new. But if we hold on to that old identity has to die to bring forth the new identity. For me, in instance, coming from, I was a college strength and conditioning coach. That was, I'm young, I'm in my 20s, I'm believing that this is my identity, this is who I am, and I'm looking forward to either continue at colleges or move on to professionals, professional teams, whatever it is. I have no idea, but this is what I am. And then after Hurricane Katrina, got relocated to Marble Falls, Texas. Guess what? Ain't no colleges here. It's junior college, but I either have to move somewhere else to continue to hold on to that. But I knew I was called to be here in the Hill Country. And so knowing I was called to be here in the Hill Country, I had to reinvent myself. No, I'm not a college strength coach. That is not who my identity is. That was a title for a season. Who I am is somebody who uses strength and fitness for personal development and ministering the gospel of Christ. That's who I am as a core. And I've used that. Now, at the same time, I realized, and looking back, I was always a mindset coach because that's how I train my athletes. I was also always a mindset coach because I trained myself that way. I knew I had to be strong here because my physical body, when I was younger, I was 4'7", 82 pounds as a freshman in high school. I was the smallest kid. So in order for me to actually compete in sports, I had to work harder. I had to hustle harder. I had to have a different work ethic in order for me to compete. That crossed over in the classroom. That crossed over in jumping ramps and doing all the crazy stuff that I'm going to do the best. I'm going to do it more than anyone else. Whatever you're scared to do, I'm going to do. Okay, that was my motif. Hold up. Gotta stay hydrated. I gotta stay hydrated. So there are elements in there that says I have to become, and I need to I look back and see these skills that I've acquired over all these years. I have a particular set of skills that, anyway, sorry. It just got in my head. Take it. But yes, I had this particular set of skills that were built up over years that allow me to pivot and move into a different area or a different demographic or psychographic. So these elements of being all these things are coming to the forefront because it's in there. I'm pulling these seeds from within the fruit, be fruitful and multiplied. It's not just about having a bunch of babies. That's not it. All right. That is part of it as far as, but what are you going to produce from what you have? So the multiplication of the gift, multiplication of the calling. So I'm pulling seeds of all these things that have been planted in me from others and in myself in my own walk. So I'm bringing that to fruition. Okay. So like I said before, young kings, 1 Timothy 4:12. That's why I was looking for the scripture because I thought it was earlier, but it's right here. Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, and in purity. Now, this is, Paul talking to Timothy and letting him know, like, look, I know you're a young buck, but it's okay. Don't worry about what other people have to say about you being a young buck. Go get it done. I got you. I'm your mentor. I'm your father in the faith. I'm going to help you get to where you need to get. That's what Paul was telling Timothy along the way, being a young person. So even for you, you might be, a teen or a young person or too old, whatever it may be in your mind. You might think you're too old. Whatever that circumstance is like, look, don't let anybody tell you that you're too young for certain things, because it may be because you're young, you actually have a different audience. Me ministering to a person about salvation on the streets is different from my kids doing it. They have more impact. All right. They have more impact, especially if they know what they're talking about and led by the Spirit to be able to speak to this individual. There would be more of a wow factor. Okay. There'd be more of a wow factor than myself. Okay. So, even when we're talking about as far as not too late, too soon, Philippians 4:13, can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Of course, it's been taken out of context a lot, but it means that if I don't have all the resources, I still can make it happen. If I've got a lot of resources, I still can make it happen. If I'm downtrodden, I still can actually, my spirit may feel crushed, I still can make it happen. If I'm at the peak and the pinnacle in a peak state, I still can make it happen. It's up to me to say that I'm going to do that. Okay. So before I get into number 5, once again, please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all those YouTube things that you're supposed to do on there. Share it to your people, invite your people to watch it and all this kind of stuff. Get notified of the notification bell and all that stuff like that. People tell you smash it. I'm gonna come up with something different instead of smashing it. Devour the notification bell. Now, I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, all right. Number 5. Number 5 is embrace the journey. Just embrace it. Like, I know this might be long, it might be hard, it might feel arduous. Sometimes you're going to feel alone, but embrace it. It's your journey. It's your specific, unique experience. I want you to step into that and recognize your unique experiences matters because it gives you unique teaching points and unique angles that no one else has. Okay. Your choices, they led you here for a reason. There's a reason why you're here at this particular point, that you're listening to this now. Some of you are watching this, you may be watching this and it's like, I've been waiting. I needed that push. I needed something to say, go for it. This is your permission. I'm giving you permission right now to pursue your purpose with passion. Go for it. Okay. Embrace it. It's your journey. Yours. It's different. Your road is different from other people. Nobody else got your parents. Nobody got your exact age. Nobody has that cut that breaks, that cut, that scrape. Nobody had that test and trial that you had. All these things come together. All things work for the good of those who are called. All these things come together to define you, to refine you, to make you who you called to be. All of it's part. And the things even we think are the things that disqualify us are exactly what it is that do qualify us for your calling, for your purpose. All those things are part of it. They don't disqualify you. They actually enhance your ability. Okay. You're more than enough in Christ. You're more than enough, regardless of your age or your circumstances. It doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. All the stuff you're making a big deal is not a big deal. Other folks have overcome those. You can. You can make it happen. You can step into the particular situation itself. Okay. I want you to explore the dreams, the passions, even the little quiet ones, the private ones that you haven't told anybody about, that might be in your journal, then that just might be in your prayer life. Bring those things to fruition. There might be somebody, that you can sharpen, iron sharpening with somebody, or that can actually help extrapolate. That's what I do really well. I do really well at listening to someone tell me about their story, tell me about where they're moving into, and can help them design a business or a ministry or a movement that's specific to them, that utilize their gifts. The Bible says a man's gift will make room for him, will bring them before great men. Your gift will make it happen. That is what it has to be exposed. That is what has to be brought to the forefront, is the gift. Bring the gift to the forefront. And sometimes it takes somebody else to help bring that out, because you can't see the label from inside of the jar. If you're in the jar, you can't see the label of the jar. Someone else may need to read the label. Someone else may have the wisdom and the discernment and experience to pull those things out. So in business and in life, this is what I help men do, is pull those things out, so that it brings not just the success of the money, but we want that, but also the fulfillment. Because when you walk in your purpose, it's there's a flow to it. There is just a satisfaction. You'll do it tirelessly. You'll do it because it's like, this is my thing. This is what I'm supposed to do. So you're going to continue to pursue it in an area, in a way, in a manner that is energetically in alignment with who you are and who you're planning on becoming. So all that's part of it too as well. Okay. Got Proverbs 16:3 for you. Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. So have I laid this at the altar? Have I shared it with a brother or sister in faith? Have I come together and said, this is what I'm called to do? So I'm committing the work. I have to do the work. I'm committing the work, do the work to see the fruit come from it. The fruit of my labor is going to come from me doing the work itself. Okay. So I'm just going to embrace the journey, the valleys, the high points, all those particular things as well. The learning points that sometimes are painful. A lot of purpose comes through the pain. So looking at that pain, turn that into purpose, because it's part of it. It's all part of it. Okay. So life's journey is all about discovering and embracing your purpose. It really is. It's man's search for meaning. It's me walking in the abundant life that John 10:10, the abundant and full life that God has in store for me. Not because I'm just trying to receive all these things, but I want to receive my purpose so that I can pour it out to someone else. I want to be a vessel that is used by God to help folks and to move folks. Now, guess what? It could be done in a profession that is not necessarily, faith-based, leading, but no matter what, you actually have the purpose in it. You can be the most amazing teacher or accountant or whatever it may be that you're doing. You may be the most amazing at doing it in a way that's different and unique, that is loving, and it serves at a high level. And folks see that. Okay. They'll draw the right people in that particular area itself. Okay. So there's always room for growth, for change, no matter what your age is, too young, too old. There's never an age limit or a limit on pursuing your particular dreams. But you know what it comes from? A lot of that are limiting beliefs. Don't let your limiting beliefs of yourself, your circumstances, past, present, any of those particular things, they're not limiting as much as you think they are, because if you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. And a lot of us keep the limitations that we put on ourselves, and that's personal. Okay, that's personal to us. We don't have to. So we need to fight through those walls, those particular things. Okay. A lot of times we say, well, I don't have the resources. I don't have the money. I don't have the education. I don't have the time. Stop holding back on I don't have the resources and become more resourceful. There is somebody or some bodies who is doing a version of what you want to do, or you feel led to do, that's doing it and doing it well. And now it may not be 100%. I want to do exactly what this person's doing, but okay, 75, 80% of this, it resonates with me. And I can pull some information from this individual, because success leaves clues. There's somebody, there's some book, there's some podcast, there's some individual, a coach, a mentor, or somebody that can specifically speak to you. I need to pursue that. Study that individual. As Christians, those who are of the faith, we study what Christ did. The whole be like Christ. It's what would Jesus do? We look at the way he operates. He is the chief example of how to be a Christian. So there's somebody, if you want to be an author, a speaker, you want to open up a coaching business, you want to start a ministry, a nonprofit, any of those particular things, somebody's done it very similar to where you want to do it. So I always encourage, grab 2 to 3 to 4 individuals and study their methodology, study their principles, study their systems, their belief, their mission, their purpose, the way they do it. And I can take some of those things and extrapolate them back to design my life accordingly, design my purpose accordingly. So I don't have the resources, because there's certain things you can do to build up to make those things happen. Okay. So the word I want you to leave you with is adventure. Seek adventure, a quest toward your purpose. There are going to be people, there are going to be sages along the way. If you ever, any movie you see, there's like the person who's the hero of the movie, and there's always or the story, and there's always a sage. There's always a guide, somebody to come along. I love the fact that I'm the guide. I love to be the Mr. Miyagi or the Yoda for a lot of folks, because I want to bring the superhero out of them to move forward into what they're called to do. Okay, that's my purpose as a teacher, as an educator, as a mentor, as a coach. So I know my role in those particular things. I can't not have these kind of conversations. This is what comes in. This is what I've pursued. This is what I've studied. I'm about to go to a conference to learn more about how I can do this in a way that helps my clients, helps my future clients. So I'm pursuing it. I'm being enamored by this kind of stuff, because I want to be great at it. I want to be excellent at it. And so I'm pursuing that. Some things I have to invest in. Some things are free. You're getting free information right here, right now, because of YouTube. YouTube University can teach you a whole lot. Now, if you want to accelerate that, sometimes you have to get with a coach or a mentor or somebody who can move that a little further. And there's a blessing in you actually investing your time, your talent, your money, your finances, and your effort, your energy into something that it costs you something. Sometimes you have to have an investment into this particular thing. And so whatever that may be, okay? So adventure. What's the next step? Don't worry about having the whole blueprint. What's the next step? What's the first step? Get there. What's the next step? What do I need to be studying? What do I need to be reading? Who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to hire to be able to extrapolate what's inside of me, because I just can't see it. I can't see it. Like I said, 40% of folks say they don't even know. I mean, no, 40% say they know their purpose, but 25% say it's not even meaningful. It's not meaningful. Is it lighting you up? Is it bringing you joy? And you could do it with the right spirit. If it's not, you might need to make a pivot. You might need to make a purposeful pivot towards what God is really calling you to do. Now, are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to go through all the things necessary to make it happen? So I encourage you to do so. I want to give you permission to do so, because I know you can. So hope this is helpful. Once again, subscribe, like, comment, share, all the YouTube things like that, and come along for the journey. I love you guys, and I hope I can display that by the work that I'm doing to help you guys grow and walk in your purpose. So hope that helps. God bless. Go hard. Peace.